Hello, everyone. Welcome to Claret and Booze. Hope you're all well. Good idea this is. It's just a shame that it's under these circumstances off the back of that game. So the idea of this show, no idea I had earlier on, is to do what we've done, which is we're doing the watch along on a match day. I'll do my live post match reaction, where as typically I've got absolutely bugger all to talk about. Just incredibly painful. But then, more importantly, I'll give every one of you lovely people a chance to sort of phone in and have your say on things as well. So obviously I'll converse. I'll give you, we'll have a chat. I'll give you my thoughts on things. But the whole idea of this is to just give you a chance to have your say, really, and get things from your perspective. Now, from my side of things, personally, I think, look, we're clearly at a stage now where we're talking about more than football. We're talking about more than the actual game that we watched today, aren't we? You know, what's going to happen next? We all heard the rumours about Lopetegui going if we didn't win or win convincingly. Is that going to happen or what? None of us really know. None of us have got a clue. So yeah, I'm asking people as well. So if any information does come in, if any news does come in, I've put a lot of feelers out there now for information, because I'm hoping that we're going to get some sort of guidance one way or the other. That should be today or tomorrow, I would imagine. We need to know what's going on, really. At least need to know where we stand. So yeah, now's your time. I've got one call lined up as well, and then after that, I'll put my number up on the bottom of the screen. All right. Before I do phone anyone else, as I've said before, we're going to be doing this moving forward. So if you like the format and you like the idea of this, don't forget, drop a like on the video, and please subscribe if you haven't already, because it does help us. Okay. So the first caller is going to be Corell, who I'm almost certain is going to be very displeased with what he saw today. So I think maybe the better way of doing it as well, because what happens is when I do this, if there's a high volume of calls, it's happened to me before, and I start having tantrums, you just start getting call waiting, because I'm doing this with a mobile phone, so you have to phone in when there's a gap, basically. So maybe a better way of doing it will be if I get you to WhatsApp me. Not a text message, a WhatsApp, because I'm not going to go in and out of all different messengers. So I'll put my number up. I'll tell you what, I'll do it now. And send me a WhatsApp if you want me to call you back. That way it'll just keep it a bit more organised. Otherwise, it's just, you'll just be hearing beep, beep, beep in the background. And it'll drive you mad. So I'm going to put my number up now. Give us a minute. Hang on. And then I shall give Corell a call. WhatsApp on 07. Oh, fuck. Hang on. Call back. Add. There you go. Let's drag that down now. There you go. There you go. Right, I'm hoping you can see that. Right, so let's give Corell a call. Is it not working? No, Corell, you're not working. I'll try you in a second. Let's try Dave from Raynham. So I've got Dave from Raynham who wants to have a call as well. Right, 1 minute. He could be on his way back from the game, Corell. You never get any signal around there, do you? Let's see if this works. There we go. That's better. You're not working. I'll try you in a second. Let's try Dave from Raynham.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. Can you hear me all right?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine now.
Oh,
cheers, mate.
Good stuff. Cheers, Dave. Cheers, Dave. How are you, mate? How are you feeling?
You know what? I'm an old boy. I'm 65. I've followed this team. Well, I can go back to the 64 final. I can just about remember this. And sometimes you wonder why you support this team, really. You know, it is... I'd really like to go back to the 70s and 80s. You there, mate?
Yeah, no, I can hear you, mate. I'm just listening.
You know, we didn't have that aspirations. Going following West Ham, you know, it was one of those various things. You was part of a family, you went away, home matches and that. We had something about us. But these days, I feel sorry for the fans. You go to this stadium, 60,000 people in a soulless stadium, and I think most of the people just go. They're the ones
they go out of duty, I think now, mate. If you'd have seen their faces over there today in the stands, just you couldn't not feel for them. I mean, it was bad enough sitting in your warm front room watching it on telly, let alone being stuck over there, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I've never known in the last month. I was speaking to my son-in-law. I was up there a couple of weeks ago. They live in Northampton, and we watched the Man United game. He's got one of the sticks, and we watched it on the various things. And okay, we got a fluke win and had a few beers, and it was great. But he said to me today, I just spoke to him, and I said, "What do you think?" And he said, "I never watched it." He said, "I went and watched his local team, who are top of the league in like the 8th tier of British football."
Yeah,
and various things like that. Now he's a guy that never followed football until about three and a half years ago.
Right.
He'd never had any interest in football, and because I support West Ham, and he's got a grandson and that, and he always used to joke with me, "Well, you've got to take him football," and they got the young boy into West Ham. And I think in the last couple of years, he's got more into it to me. Whenever I go up there, he's got his West Ham shirts on. He wears it wherever he goes and everything like that. And he must be beginning to think, like, why did you support West Ham, Dave? Because
I know. I know, mate.
It's sort of like embarrassing. And the thing about it is today, you look at that team. Did you honestly think today, when you saw that team come up and various things, yeah, we're going to go for it today?
Dave, before that game, before I even saw the team sheet, I called it as an absolute bore draw with two poor I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Everton played better football than us for large portions of that game. They did, but they've got no cutting edge. I mean, they're a poor team as well. They're a poor team. I mean, if we can't beat Everton at home, it's just.
Well, I think someone said it the other day. We managed to keep our best players on paper at the time, Paqueta and Kudus and Bowen. We spend £150 million, get rid of Moyes, bring a new man, and we're worse.
I know.
It can only happen at West Ham, couldn't it? I mean, I remember going back at West Ham, and our big striker was like Sandy Clark from Art and Melovian.
Yeah.
And then people, at least we had a bit of go about us. But I mean, I can't believe it that we signed players like you admitted it. And I mean, I just don't know what's going on. I mean, I thought we were going to change when Steiden came in, but it just, what was the famous thing that Noble said? The circus is now ended.
Yeah.
I think ever since you said that, it's got worse. Billy Smart would be.
Oh,
well,
mate, it's awful. I mean, what are your thoughts on this now? So, in terms of sort of getting this back on track, what do you expect to happen now, sort of in the international break now? What do you I suppose what do you want to happen, and then what do you expect to happen in the next week?
I think he's got to go. I think he's got to go, if I'm totally honest. I mean, I just don't see how you conclude. But the problem is with West Ham is that who comes in to replace him?
Yeah. Well,
the thing about it is,
there's plenty out there. It's just whether or not. Look, there's plenty of options out there. I know of a lot of them. There's a lot of options out there. There's a lot that we wouldn't want that Sullivan probably would, because they fit his remit. And there's a load that we would love that would come, but I just don't think that Sullivan's interested in that sort of thing, because he's got to show a bit of fucking ambition, and he likes being the big man.
Yeah, but Sullivan's main priority is that they're unattached free agents and they're cheap.
Yeah, I know.
The thing about it is,
it's sad,
there's talk about, the three names that Steinberg gave the other day, where I text you, was one was the ex-Denmark manager, ain't got a club.
Yeah.
One was someone else, and the other one was the 42-year-old from Stuttgart.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we've got another one here. Sorry, mate. We've got another one here, Damien D'Amico, who I know is a bit of a Sullivan lover. I've said earlier on, if you wanna just throw all of this at Tim, if you think that any other director of football, Damien, could do better when he doesn't get to choose his coach and he doesn't even get to choose all of his players, if you think that's a gift of a job that any other director of football could succeed at, then that's fine. That's what you think. But the fact of the matter is, our owner is a little prick, mate. One of the main reasons, whether we'll never know whether Tim Stein was good or not. We'll never know because he ain't been able to do his fucking job properly. Anyway, sorry.
Well, the funny thing about it is, if he does go to Arsenal, that says something, doesn't it?
Well, that dismisses the fact that he's shit, which is what everyone else, which is what the Bald and all of his mouthpieces and all. What do you know? What, as far as I'm concerned, all the Sullivan fans out there want to pedal at the moment because it can't possibly be Sullivan's fault. It's Tim's fault. This is what you're doing there. You know that, didn't you? If you're blaming Tim, you're absolving Sullivan. In my opinion. Well,
the funny thing about it is, your mate Sean Whetstone, he did this with Moyes with his polls. I noticed during the week he had a poll about Lopetegui. You know, who tells him to do that?
You know who tells him, Dave?
Yeah, but isn't that the bloke owns a football club that's worth how much? He's in the Premier League. You know, all right, we don't know. We don't follow other clubs, so. Do the owners of Wolves do this? Do the owners of Southampton or Everton? Do they? Oh, here's your little mouthpiece. Put that out. Things like, I signed Sullivan, all the best players. You know, I signed him. You know, you have a director of football and you say like, well, what players did he sign? Well, Kilman, it was Lopetegui who signed him, wasn't he?
Yeah, and as we know, Somerville was a Sullivan one. You know, he's let the world know. Sullivan let the world know that he's basically still picking players. Now, look, I like Somerville, but you've got a director of football in. He shouldn't be picking any fucking players, Dave. None.
I mean, as I say, I've supported the Hammers for many years. Terence Brown was the owner, or he was the mouthpiece of the real owners, and that was dreadful, the bond scheme and all that shit. Then we get taken over by Icelandic billionaire who goes broke, only at West Ham.
Yeah.
And then we have the Dildo Daves and various things like that. He's so disappointing. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you just hope, well, you know, one day we might be taken over by someone else, but God knows. I mean, it's just so disappointing. I mean, the thing about it was, I don't think I've been over there for over a year now. And I tell you what, I used to work for a company. They got tickets, couple of seats behind the players' bench, right in the best seats.
Yeah.
If he rang me up now and said, Dave, I've got a spare ticket, do you want to go? Do you know, honestly, I'd probably think I'd make an excuse not to go.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate, absolutely. But Dave, I'll tell you what, I'm limiting the calls to 10 minutes on this one, mate. You're currently approaching 9 minutes, so you've got a minute left. Use it well. What do you want to close on?
Well, we got 2 weeks. I mean, this is the ideal fairest things. If you're going to make a decision, make it now, because we've had 12 games, 11 games, 12 games. You can bring new bloke in for 2 weeks and start it. It is pointless waiting until January, because then it's a relegation battle. Yeah. And then who are you going to get? But anyway, I'll let someone else come on. It's great to speak to you, mate. Keep your chin up.
Yeah,
I worry about health at times.
No, mate, I'm all right. I'm kind of. I mean, today you can kind of see it. I'm not. I'm not raging as much as what I normally am. Apathy's starting to set in for me. I'm just kind of.
Yeah. I think you're a bit of token rage these days. Not like it was under Moyes. But
no. Moyes really knew how to get under my skin. I mean, one thing I will say about him, at least he did provoke some emotion. You know, he did, you know, because it's like when he went into an interview, a post-match interview, at least he made an effort to make an excuse or something. This geezer's fucking awful. Yeah. He's useless. He just pretends he can't understand English when they ask him an awkward question. That's all he does.
Yeah. Anyway, great to speak to you, mate. I'll let someone else have a go.
Cheers, Dave. Thanks for calling in, mate. Top man.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Right, I shall call you back, people, please. I've got one phone, so I've got to go through it. I've got a load of WhatsApps. I will... where are we? Right, so no, John Kamei would, but he's out tonight. He's in a restaurant, so I'm going to try and phone Corell back, and then we'll move on to the others. There's quite a few on there as well. Yes, Damien, I'll give you a call back after. Me and you can have a hour after. There you go. Right. Okay. Oh, fucking hell. What am I doing? Sorry, everyone. Trying to do this on my phone. Ain't easy. Right, let's see if Corell rings this time. I wonder if... Are you in the country, Corell? Because I'm trying to phone you on the phone. Shall I try you on WhatsApp? Let's try you on WhatsApp. Hang on 1 minute. Let's try calling you on WhatsApp. And yes, I have got all your messages, by the way. I can see them all come through. I just can't obviously respond to them.
All right, Nick.
Hello, mate. I can't phone you on the phone, but I can phone you on WhatsApp.
I don't know. The phone is here, and I've got a different phone for WhatsApp, so both are here. But that's fine.
Sorry, mate.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem.
I didn't go to the game.
You got
10 minutes. I know.
You've got 10 minutes, Corell. Go on.
I shall use it well. I didn't go to the game because my brother's here from Australia. So for this game and the Man United game, I gave my seat to him. So first and foremost, a big shout out to all of the fans that went and watched that tripe for my brother, my friend Perry, and everyone else that was in that stadium. Bar the last couple of minutes of each half, it was appalling.
Yeah.
The team never looked like they wanted to really win. They were too lethargic, too slow, too passive. And apart from the last couple of minutes of each half and Pickford's 3 phenomenal saves, we didn't really look like we were organised. And Everton were more, stable and balanced.
Was it any different to what you expected before the game, or was it exactly as you expected it would be today?
I thought that we'd play a little bit more on the front foot, and I did fear that they would be sitting back and waiting for as long as possible to keep the game at 0-0. I thought that we'd do a little bit better, but for the most part, it was as I suspected. I think that the changes, I said to you before, I think Rodriguez is a ghost. I still say that. I know he had that one shot, but he doesn't do enough. I think we could have made more changes at halftime. I think if he took the incentive to take Souček off at halftime and Rodriguez, put Soler in from the beginning of the half, and maybe put Paqueta a little bit deeper to play those longer passes and put Ings with Antonio, at least until the 60th, 65th minute, because we know Antonio's going to burn out, and then bring on Guilherme, then that would have added some pace. That kid has to be given a chance, never will give a chance. And it's not fair because you think we've got these young players that are hungry, and I really rate Somerville, so I'm glad that the only reason he came off was because of cramp. Bowen, I thought, was poor again. He looks a little bit confused as to what to do. The defense was too slow in getting the ball out. Fabianski's distribution was slow for 90% of the time, and he rushed the ball up the field with the last couple of minutes. It's not a good way to go into a break. And I know that inevitably you'll ask me the question, and rather than go over my 10 minutes limit, I would say you have to get rid of this guy now. I would throw a curveball, and I know one of the fans on the site said earlier on, Keane and Stevie Potts. I would be brave enough. I don't think we're going to Europe. We're not playing well enough. I would put those guys in now.
But we've still got Alford in the. He's actually available. I mean, Potts isn't.
I meant Stevie Potts.
Sorry, mate. Keenan Potts.
Sorry, Nick. No, I would put those guys in for the rest of the season, because ultimately, if you get a guy in now, it's going to be a kind of safety job appointment, and it's not going to be anyone that we want.
I would take that, because that's similar to what Louis kind of called for. He called for Keane and Noble. Basically, I don't give a fuck. I would just like to have 2 people in a dugout that actually care. Somebody that's connected with the club.
And absolutely care about the fans. 100%.
That'd be nice.
Maybe Noble as well. I wouldn't put Nolan. I know someone said Nolan. I never really liked Nolan when he was there as assistant coach, and I said before all he does is check the internet.
But do you not feel like we're missing that? I mean, if you look, Lopetegui's brought a completely Spanish coaching team in. Noble was gone. I think it's important to have characters scattered throughout.
No, for sure. Maybe in the background there's a coaching staff on the training pitch, but in the dugout, for me, hit and miss. I would put West Ham blood on the sidelines, aka Stevie Potts, Kevin Keane. I would let them do what they can until the rest of the season. At least they're going to play attractive football. Yeah. We don't hold much hope that we're going to qualify for Europe. I think the season, and I know mathematically we're 6 points, 8 points behind European space, but look at the way we're playing. Unless there's a humongous turnaround and all of a sudden Fulkrug proves everybody else wrong, then nothing's going to change.
No.
Areola's been in iffy form. okay, Fabianski does make some great saves every so often, but he makes more errors than saves. So we've got a going from goalkeeper to the other end of the field. We've got an unstable team. I really don't think there's any point in sacking him now and bringing in someone like Southgate, God forbid, or someone of that ilk.
Can you imagine?
I would say,
if Southgate came in?
Yeah, I mean, that would be the real kiss of death. And people like Moyes and all the Moyes fanboys and it was we rubbing their hands in glee. We've got to try and salvage what we can for the rest of the season. The fans look stagnant. I've not spoken to my brother or to Perry yet, but it looks stale and nervous.
Dead, mate. Do you know, and you know the litmus test they say is always when the away support turns, because the away supporters are kind of among the most patient, if you like. You know, they travel everywhere, and it took them a long time to turn on Moyes, probably because of the European journeys. But they've they've turned on this geezer already after 10 games.
No, absolutely. I mean, to an extent, yeah, they did, and to an extent, Nick, I do have somewhat sympathy for him. Somewhat. Why? Because he's not been fully backed, because he knows that Stuyton didn't want him there. And I agree. I never wanted this guy, and I signed that petition as well. He knows that Sullivan's sticking his nose in as well. He's doing the best he can, but the fact remains it's not good enough for us. I think they should part ways with him effective immediately. Thank him for his services. You're on your merry way, and then put the West Ham boys in charge for the rest of the season. At least it gives fresh blood. At least they're going to play decent football that the fan base will want to see. And hopefully they're going to encourage the youth. And as you said, we've still got some of the academy boys like Scars and Alford there. Give those boys a run around. Give Guilherme a chance as well. Try and offload players like Fulkrug if he's fit. Sell him for whatever you can. And then try and loan a forward that's not being featured at their team in January. And maybe get a creative midfielder in. Soufal will probably leave at Christmas and go to Turkey or maybe to the Middle East. So we're going to lose a right back. So we need a defensive cover.
Can I ask you something? Just to kind of get away from the manager situation at the moment, because it isn't just a manager that we're talking about.
No, it's not. It is Sullivan. We know that the root of all evil is him.
No, I want to ask you a question. So the director of football, Tim Stuyton, there's an awful lot of people now where the narrative is switching, and it looks like Sutherland's peddling the narrative, trying to expose Tim as part of the reason why this season is failing. Do you think that any director of football could succeed if you can't choose a coach and you can't select all of the players? Do you think that can be done?
Impossible.
Of course it is. People don't get it.
Nick, sorry to interrupt you. If you are the technical director, you are the person that the chairman has entrusted the most. You are the guy. So in modern day football, it's not like in the 80s and 70s and 90s. And believe me, I miss those days like your previous caller, Dave, and anyone else of that age. I miss those days like hell. But it's not like those days anymore. So you've got the technical director that pulls the strings. Now, even if he didn't want Lopetegui, Sullivan should never have stuck his nose in. Stuyton should have been allowed to do his job properly and say to Lopetegui, look, either give me names or, better still, give me the style of player that you want. I want someone that's 6'1", is very fast and is great in the air. I want a midfielder that is, this size and this kind of shape, gets an average of 10 assists, whatever. Give the names. But if Sullivan's sticking his nose in and he's trying to claim credit for Somerville, then you've got Lopetegui who only wanted Kilman, and then you've got, why did Soler come? Waste of space. Why did Rodriguez come? Waste of space. Somebody asked, is Soler alone? Yes, he is, and he's no obligation to buy. But in the meantime, he's dead wood. Why are you playing this guy? He spends more time sorting out his haircut than he does knowing what to do on the field.
No,
I would never, ever really... The only thing I blame Stuyton for, Fulkrug. Yeah. He was his signing. And if rumours are to be believed, and I know that you had intel on this...
Sorry, Corell, sorry to interrupt your flow. Mark Pendleton said he's obviously reacting to you sending your poor brother who's over from Australia to West Ham. He says, Corell, you must not like your brother.
I love my brother more than anything in the world, but I know that living the other side of the universe, he doesn't get to see them unless he comes back to England. So I appreciate the joke, but I love my brother more than anything in the world. But the fact remains that Fulkrug was his desire, and I know people don't want to hear about it, but we missed out on the guy apparently, because he tried to be smart and cute and flush out Villa.
No,
I only blame Steiten for those.
Ultimately, we missed out in the end because Sullivan wouldn't go to the amount that was needed.
Also
to get that
true.
deal done.
Also true.
But
also true.
He did fuck around. He did fuck around at the start, and he could have got the deal done. He did.
And I'm questioning the Guilherme thing, although the kid's not been given a chance. You know, maybe Steiten, you can't blame him for that one because he knew something. He's got a good network in Brazil. So you kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. But the Fulkrug thing, I fought him. Everything else, I was pleasantly surprised that we nabbed this guy ahead of Chelsea, Man United and Liverpool last year. I back him. However, I don't blame him for being frustrated and pissed off that he's not been allowed to do his job. And from what you said or Gonzo said, I can't remember, he's not going to the training pitch anymore. He's not going to the dugout.
Right,
we know that
Corell,
Moyes didn't allow him.
Last 30 seconds, Corell.
Sure.
Talk to David Sullivan. Tell him what he needs to do.
Do the fans a favour. Do yourself a favour. To gain any credibility, do what needs to be done. Offload this guy, inject some West Ham blood back into the team, salvage what you can from this season and build for the future.
Beautiful, mate.
And get a new hat.
Yeah. And preferably sell up and fuck off, of course. I mean, that would be the best thing.
Well, obviously, that goes without saying. That goes without saying.
Yeah. Lovely, Corell.
Thank you for having me on, Nick.
Talk to you, mate, as always.
My pleasure is all mine, and keep the faith, everyone. It will end, but hopefully not as long, in the future as we fear. So keep the faith and keep doing your videos, Nick. You give comfort and solace to many, many fans.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Much love to everyone. Bye.
Cheers, Corell. Good call. He speaks a lot of sense, Corell. Speaks a lot of sense. Right, so where are we? Give us a minute. Of course, there's a lot. There's a lot that want him. So Damien did want to call, but now he don't want to call after Corell just gave his take on how a director of football, any director of football will struggle, Doesn't fit your narrative, does it, Damien? Right, here we go. I'm not too sure who... Oh, no, this is Steve. Right, so let's give Steve a call back. Come on, Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Nick.
Hello, mate. How are you? You all right? You a first-time caller?
I am a first time, but I've been watching your show for quite a long time.
Oh, good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Well, I'm happy to finally talk to you. What would you like to talk about today, mate? That wonderful game of football.
Where do you start with that? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, you saw it. The guy you saw it in a review. Well, what the fuck do you say in a review? It was just.
I mean, me and my oldest boy were watching that because we were both West Ham, and it was just soul destroying. It was just so boring. There was no entertainment. It was just, I don't know. I'm lost for words at how rancid it was. How crap. I mean, I think under Moyes, at least with Moyes, you had that. You used to sit back deep, but you'd have that explosive counter attack sometimes.
It was. Sometimes. I think you had more exciting moments in a game because the way he played seemed to sort of kind of suit some of the players. People like Bowen flourished because he likes to sort of go on the shoulder. So sitting back, although frustrated the fucking life out of us, there were still those moments in games where you got off your seat because
precisely. I mean, that's what you had with him. I mean, he frustrated me towards the end, Moyes, with the way he sat back, but at least you had that the Bowen on the quick counter. You had that a bit of excitement, not loads, but it's Moyes. But this guy, he's just I can't see what he's trying to do. You're looking at it and you're like, what the fuck are you trying to do? I mean, he takes Aaron Wan-Bissaka off and puts Koof out on, who ain't even had a sniff since the first game. And and the worst thing about it is at the start when he was screaming on the touchline, it was a bit refreshing because Moyes never. You there and clap, but that's about all Moyes did.
I know what you mean because he was so animated. We're like, oh look, he's got a bit of passion, but then it wore thin.
Yeah, exactly.
It
was passion. So this fucking guy, he's just fucking screaming for the sake of it. It was like, not this game, but I think it was the last game I noticed. He was screaming at Paqueta, and you saw Paqueta putting he was, you could see he was fucked off with it.
Yeah.
Put his arms out as if to tell him, fuck off. And you wonder if a lot of the players, that's actually affecting them. And they're actually at a point where they're like, do you know what? I ain't got a clue what you're fucking trying to do.
Yeah.
You're standing there like a nutter on the sideline, screaming and shouting and jumping up and down. What's the fucking point?
Well, the thing is as well. The other thing is the language barrier. So he's obviously trying to convey a message. we had a Villa fan that messaged on a show last week. I think he had good seats in corporate or something at Nottingham Forest last week. And he said, I never realised. He said, but we could clearly hear Lopetegui screaming his arse off. He said, mate, we couldn't understand a word he was fucking saying. Couldn't understand a word he was saying. So
you could hear the decibels, but that's about it. You can't make out exactly what he's saying. He's just doing a lot of pointing and a lot of screaming.
Yeah.
But when you watch his brand of football, I just can't work out what he's trying to do. Can't work out his tactics apart from constantly going to that back three, whether he starts as a back three or whether he starts as the back four and then two split and one of the fucking midfielders goes in between that and then the two wing backs push up the field. That's about all I can understand.
But he's Loppy ball. I've learned what Loppy ball is over the past 10. I've watched loads of breakdowns of what he's done at other clubs, even at Wolves. And his game is all about controlling the ball in safe areas and killing minutes. So what we see all the time, which is going back to the defenders, back to the keeper, parallel passing, that type of thing, where you eventually get it out to a wing back. It's all about killing minutes and the attack. All the midfielders there to do. That's why it looks like we've got no midfield, because they're used to do fuck all apart from block.
Yep.
We don't progress through the middle. The only place you attack is with your wing backs down the flanks. Well, the issue that we've got there is we ain't got the best fucking wing backs in the world. As good as Wan-Bissaka is, as great as he is, he ain't a wing back. He couldn't cross a road. Do you know what I mean?
No, I mean Wan-Bissaka's really good at defending, best one-on-one defender, but going forward he's not brilliant. No. And he put Kufau on. I can understand what he was trying to do because I know Kufau gets a lot of stick, but he does go forward and he does try and get crosses in.
Yeah.
So you can understand that. But I was sitting there thinking it's not going to change the game that dramatically. Putting Kufau on there was nothing. There was no. Apart from Bowen had a couple of chances. Jimmy, hit the post. He done quite well, but
that was a good move. That was a lovely ball. I'm just going to piss off the Paqueta haters here. That was a world class pass from Paqueta, straight through to.
Well, you know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of the conference final where he clipped it through to Bowen, exactly, and Bowen. Like that was precisely that sort of pass. That was exactly what that was.
Yeah.
But and he was unlucky and he hit the post. But it would have annoyed me more, to be honest with you, if he'd had scored, we'd have won. And then Loppy would have took the credit for that, and when really it was Jimmy.
Mate, I was doing that watch along, and there were so many people in the chat, and you could see getting towards the last 10 minutes, the nerves were setting in. You could see it in the live chat, and it weren't nerves that we're gonna lose. It was we're gonna fucking nick a winner here.
Nerves that we're gonna save him.
That's what they've done to West Ham fans. A lot of us have arrived at the stage where we're like, I just want him out, and I'll take a loss to get him out. That ain't right. It's not right.
Exactly. That's what I was saying to my son. I said it's so unnatural to sit there and want your team to lose.
I know.
But we're not going to progress. It's clear as day. We're not going to progress with this manager. We're not going to progress with Sullivan, and we're not going to progress with this manager. So you're at this point in time where unless Sullivan goes, or unless he fucking has a mental transplant overnight, and actually lets Steiden do his job, lets him pick a coach, let's, just fuck off out of the way, go and do your blonde missus, who my son thought was his daughter. He still can't believe that's his missus. And just let Steiden do his job, but he won't. He's a control freak.
She must have some sort of weird fetish, that bird, because she's got a lot of money herself. So she's chosen to go with that thing.
Well, I mean, there you go. What can you say? It'd be nice to have that sort of money. There you go.
I know. But yeah, so I mean, it does look. Unfortunately for Steinen, I'm more or less. I've been told that he's going to be going. I don't know whether he's going to walk or whether he's going to be sacked. I'm not even talking about the Arsenal thing. It's been coming for a while. But I think that ship's out. I don't think it can work for him now, because when Stein came in, he had an aura about him, because it looked like he was the boss. He was a director of football, the man with the project, the man with the vision. Well, Sullivan's destroyed that myth. He's made him look like he's... he can't sell that to anyone now. He can't sell that to anyone now.
This is Katinsky. I mean, that's the rumour, isn't it? That Katinsky put him in. Yeah. And what Sullivan, by the looks of it, all Sullivan's done is fuck his job up, so he leaves. So we can either blame him or so he just goes. He never wanted him to succeed. He was forced on him. If that's the rumour, if that's the truth.
1 second. Stop phoning in. Yes, I've got one phone. Drop a WhatsApp, and not a text message. Drop a WhatsApp, and I'll phone you back. All right, please. I know you're just doing it to annoy me. Go on, mate. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, so he's torpedoed Stein.
Yeah.
Because he's not his pick, because he's not something he wanted to do. As you said before, he wants that control. He's a bit of a control freak.
Yep.
He gets his little brown envelopes through the transfer, through the deals, and then he don't want anyone ruining that. And that's the truth in the matter. Yeah. And that's why we're never going to progress, unfortunately. How soul-destroying it is. We're not going to progress with him in. And it's bad to say that. You want your club, we want West Ham to be, up there with with everyone else. But I don't know. I'm not infused.
No, but it's been so difficult this year, mate. It's been so difficult this year. But I'll tell you what, mate, we're approaching the 9-minute mark. So sort of closing down on your last minute. Yeah. What I asked Dave from Raynham, what would you like to see happen in the next 2 weeks? What do you actually think is going to happen?
Okay, well, this is what I'd like to happen, but my son laughs at me every time I say this.
Go on.
I want that Muppet gone, and I'd love to see Ange. Someone like Ange come in. I know he plays a bit of a risky. He plays a bit risky, but he's attacking and he wants to score goals. That's what I love.
I'll take it.
What I think is going to happen, David Sullivan's he's going to sit on his hands. It'll get to Christmas. By that point, we'll probably be in a relegation zone. Then he'll act. He'll probably get rid of him, blame Stein. Stein will probably leave, or he'll be Arsenal bound. And then we'll end up with fucking either David Moyes again, or fucking some other firebrand manager just to get us out of trouble. Well, that's what's going to happen.
That's the thing. If David Sullivan lets go of a manager now, this is the other thing, people. The season ain't dead yet. So if David Sullivan lets him go now, he will be expected to be ambitious and go out there and get the right type of manager that's going to come in and help us push on and save this season. If he waits until Christmas when the season's dead and we're in a relegation battle, he ain't got to do nothing other than go out and get a fucking rescue manager. That's all he's got to do.
Yeah.
And they're cheap as shit.
Exactly. You don't want to be paying someone out of a contract.
No.
I mean, there's like these other channels that put that Sebastian Hunes. I think it was Hammer's chat put Sebastian Hunes and one of these three that are being background checked or whatever. Fuck off. He ain't going to go and pay some 2 years worth of compensation for that Hunes. He ain't going to do that.
That's obviously a Tim Stuyton. If there's background checks being done and stuff like that, then that's probably a Stuyton one, because what they're all doing at the club, you can guarantee, it's more or less what I've been told anyway. Sullivan, even Brady, Tim, and Kretinsky have all got their own ideas on who should be coming in next. So they're probably all out there at the moment exploring different options. And then, because everything goes to a board vote now, they'll probably interview fucking 50 managers and choose the shittest one. That's what they'll do. Choose the cheapest one.
Yeah, cheapest. Exactly, yeah.
But anyway, But Steve, absolutely lovely to talk to you, mate. Make sure you call in again.
Yeah, nice talking to you. I will do.
All right, top man. Speak to you soon.
Lovely. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Good call. Right, so, fuck me, I'm going to be on here all night. Hang on. Right, where are we? So I've got... No, it's not that one. Oh, I missed this one. So we've got Eddie from Dubai. I'm going to have to phone you on WhatsApp. Here we go.
Hello, Nick.
Is that Eddie?
Yes, mate.
Hello, mate. You all right?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you well.
All good. Yeah. Thanks for the call, mate.
That's all right, mate. Are you on holiday in Dubai, or are you living out there at the moment, working?
I live over here, yeah. I've been here 12 years now.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
So yeah, I get the evening football.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, every week I say I'm not going to watch it. I don't want to watch it. And it's, I've been watching you boys for a long time, and what we've been through in the last 2 years, week after week, the absolute abysmal football. And I've got pals of mine going, "You should have kept Moyes. Should have kept Moyes."
Oh,
I ain't got a
fucking does my brain
clue what they're talking about. And mate, there's history's repeating itself. Pellegrini 5 years ago, whenever it was.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Right? I don't mean to interrupt. I even had that from my Turkish barber today when I walked in, and I said, "Can you hurry up, mate? I've got to go back and watch West Ham." He went, "Oh, West Ham." He said, "You should have kept David Moyes." I was like, "Don't you fucking start, mate." But I suppose you can say what you want when you got a razor to me throat.
Painful, mate. Painful.
On, mate. Sorry.
So look, you know as well as I do, history's repeating itself. 5 years ago, he brings in Pellegrini, another journeyman. Spends 170 million, bought in Anderson, all these players, everyone's revved up, and it just didn't work. And Sullivan's got how do you say it? He's got a gift for picking the wrong horse.
Yes, yep.
Especially foreign managers.
He does. He backs the wrong fucking horse every single time, mate.
So, again, I personally think, that during the summer, I think look at Unai Emery, for example.
Yeah.
Unai Emery. He comes to Arsenal after Wenger, big job. I think he won the FA Cup. He didn't do much apart from that, did he?
No.
They outed him. He went back to Spain, did all right. Villa brought him in and he smashed it.
Yeah.
And I think Sullivan's looked at Lopetegui and gone, he's enough for Unai Emery. But he fucking ain't.
Do you know that Sullivan interviewed Emery before he went to Villa? I know this for fact, and he didn't fancy him. Well, weren't sure about him.
Well, I'm gutted about that.
I know.
And I think that was a strategy, to be honest with you. And if Steiden does leave, it'll probably all come out because his hands have been tied for 2 years. His hands were tied with Moyes. His hands were tied with Sullivan.
Well, the thing is, the impression that you get with Tim, especially when you look at him, because he does talk. He talks to German media. He goes, he's got his favourite agents. We know he talks to Romano. I do think, and I really hope he does. He has got loose lips. Loose lips sink ships, as they say. And I do think he's got that in him. I think he is going to come out and he is going to pipe up a little bit. I really do.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to hear him tell his side of the story because these fuckers need exposing, mate. They do.
Well, he's going to be the fall guy for Sullivan, isn't he?
100%, yeah. Yeah. And he will come out fighting. He'll come out fighting because he's a professional guy. He's young. He's ambitious. And if something is threatening his future and looking to damage his reputation, that man's going to come out swinging. He will defend himself. 100%. You've got to, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've got to defend your own reputation, and I do think that this guy will. So I think Sullivan's got to play it careful as well.
Well, a lot of clubs have been looking at Steiden for a while since we brought him in. So he's obviously got a good reputation. He's good at something.
Yeah.
But it just appears that his hands are tied. So, I mean, look, neither team tonight, look, we edged it in the game. But it was like watching championship football, relegation football.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about he's had a full pre-season, Lopetegui. He's had new signings, plenty of time to prepare. How do you not know what your formation is? How do you not know what team you're playing?
Mate, he's been here it's approaching 6 months now. That's a long fucking time. He should know everything about his players. And if you listen to the guy, apparently this deal's been done. He's been looking at taking over from West Ham since he walked out of Wolves, more or less, like for 6 months before he joined. And he's come out and said that he studied West Ham. So, that's a year. He should know what the players' capabilities are. It's fucking ridiculous, mate. But what it is, I think he's got one way of playing. Well, we know he's got one way of playing. And if he ain't got the players to fit that system, well, you're fucked. You're absolutely fucked.
But Moyes had one way of playing. We were the most obvious team to break down.
I know.
It was so easy tactically to break down Moyes. These are dinosaurs, Nick. These managers, they're dinosaurs. The game's changed now. Look at the geezer in Brighton, the young manager. What's he, 31, 32?
Yeah.
He's come in. I don't know how much they spent like in the summer. They're playing Man City tonight.
They've backed him, right? So they've brought a 31-year-old manager in, and they've backed him with 200 million spent in the summer. That's ambition. It is. It's bravery. The thing is, it ain't. Do you know what? It's not bravery because Brighton have got strong foundations in place. They know what they're fucking doing. You know, this guy, they probably knew about him 2 years ago and they've just been keeping an eye on him because they succession plan. They probably already know, roughly, who their next manager will be when this guy inevitably gets fucking poached in a year, 2 years. They probably have already got half an idea who they're going to go for next. Because you think losing someone like... Well, first of all, they lost Potter, who did a great job for them. Then they got fucking De Zerbi in, and then they got this guy. It just seems like it don't matter what happens at Brighton. It just don't matter if the coach goes. They'll move on to the next one. Whereas with us, I'd love to just have one fucking coach that does that for you. Imagine, I mean, that alone can I think it illustrates the failure of Sullivan in the time that he's been in football. He's never had a manager poached. Never. A manager has never been doing that well where somebody else has come in and paid a release clause to take that manager. Never. They always end up running their contract down and fucking leaving and then not working for a year, 2 years because no one will touch him afterwards. That's his legacy.
I mean, what's it been 14 years now since they took over?
Yeah, too fucking long.
Is it 14?
Yeah.
I mean, look, you've got a fucking absolute. I mean, he's never. Look, I'd love if we, just got rid of Lopetegui over the international break, brought someone in, just anyone, just to give it another spin. But I don't think it's going to happen. You've got an egomaniac billionaire at the fucking throne who ain't going to change his ways.
Never.
He'll probably blame Stighton. I don't know. It's painful, mate.
We're seeing that already. We're seeing this play out. The wheels are in motion on Stighton being discredited because this is going to foul. Sullivan knows this is going to foul, and whether you're right, and I think you probably are. It probably is more likely to happen around Christmas, New Year time, by which time we could be in the bottom three. So he's going to have to sack him, and that will be a failure anyway. But if this happens and he lets go of Stighton now, he's building up a little story, a little backstory. That fucking director of football, he wasted all of our money. I entrusted him, and look what he's done. This is what we're seeing play out here. He's an absolute wanker, that bloke. He is. I can't stand him.
But is there actually a board, or has he just got he's got the majority share? Does he have the say in everything?
No, it's quite fucked up now. So we've got a pretty even split on the board. So Kretinsky's got something like roughly. He's got roughly 28%. Sullivan's got about 35. So he's got more shares than Kretinsky. Trip Smith's got 10% as well, the American guy, and we've got the golds that are in there with the rest of it. But historically, what's happened is if something goes to a board vote, it'll go for the majority. So Sullivan will put something on the table with his 30-odd%. But the golds will back him, and that tips him over the 50% mark. So whatever he says goes effectively. Yeah. He's still effectively the majority shareholder. But what he does have, he has the right of veto on that board. So say, for instance, the golds and everybody else went against Sullivan, and they went, right, we don't want your manager that you're talking about here. We want this manager. Sullivan has the power to go, well, you ain't fucking having him. He has a right of veto, which it just seems like a load of shit, mate. He's where we are. Sullivan's running it. Yeah.
This is why we are where we are. I mean, look, there's a serious lack of leadership in that team, mate. There's, I mean, you can bring in all the, like for likes all you want, but for the last 2 years, let's say, there's no leaders there, mate.
No,
there's no one. I mean, you throw down 20 million on the Brazilian teenager, whatever his name is, but you won't pay 8 million for Amorim.
Oh, mate, it's fucking ridiculous. If we have to pay this bloke off, that's going to cost about 8 million to pay him and all of his 500 coaching staff that he's brought in with him. It's going to cost around 8 million to pay them off.
And then you're lowballing Villa, lowballing them about Duran, putting low offers, and then it all goes tits. Bring in Fulkrug. And then, it's inevitable, wasn't it? He was going to score against us and start banging them in.
100%, mate.
Talk about bad decisions and just these old school tactics of like, like second-hand car dealer deals. What are they doing,
mate?
What are they doing? We're crying out for a striker for how many years?
Mate,
crying out for a striker.
It's been forever, right? And this is the other thing as well. Fulkrug, fucking disgraceful signing. That's one thing I beat Tim to shit over that. But anyone's allowed to make a mistake. They are. He was a mistake. Big mistake. However, it's very rich for Sullivan to come out and start beating him with it. How many fucking strikers has he signed in the 14 years he's been here? 12, 14 years? Mate, every striker he signed has fucking failed. There's loads of them. Abysmal. And we lose loads of money on them. Hilarious. Even the big ones. Hilarious. Skamaka. He always buys the wrong fucking player. Every time. So, I don't know. But anyway, mate.
Players who can't be coached by these, the Moises and the Lopetegis.
Exactly.
Even when Fulkrug played a couple of games, right? How many games he played? 3? He come on.
He's played about 60.
Balls in the box.
Played about 60 minutes. Well, look at what Chris Wood's doing at Nottingham Forest. Similar type of striker. If you give them service, they'll fucking score.
Yeah, but the way we're playing, they can't whip a corner in, Nick.
Mate, I know.
The balls in the box. I don't know if anyone's actually played football, but the way our balls in the box are awful. I mean, some of the corners we squander and the free kicks, it's like, what are they doing?
Well,
but look, I don't know. I mean, look, I think
we've been awful, mate, this year. Absolutely.
Well, again, it's just history repeating again, isn't it? I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, I don't think we should bring in another foreign manager, Nick. I really don't. I think it's too much of a gamble.
Would you go along with what Corell suggested earlier on, and a lot of other people are? When you look at some of the names that are mentioned at the minute, which fucking terrify me, I'd be all for just going in-house, going West Ham, go Potts, Keane, Noble, just bring in some actual fucking West Ham people in that will just play, because we've got some fucking good players. And I think all that needs to happen is we just need somebody to come in, motivate them players for a start, let them have some fucking fun in training because they look like they're miserable, and play a system that suits them and play players in their strongest positions. I think we've got enough ability
They need bonding, Nick. They need bonding, mate. You need a British manager to come in, whether it's bring back Kevin Nolan, get Nobes in, get a bit of banter going, get them going again and like roll your sleeves up.
And we need a new captain, big time, because unfortunately, I love Bowen, but he ain't no captain.
Exactly. Totally agree.
He's not. But anyway, Eddie, I'm going to let you go, mate. Before you go, if you was talking to Sullivan, what would you like him to do now, apart from sell up and fuck off, which we all want? What would you like him to do in the next week?
Well, what I'd like him to do is, take responsibility. There's been enough bad decisions. Own up to your mistakes, really. Get rid of Lopetegui and bring it, it's back to basics again, isn't it? Otherwise, we're going to roll into Christmas and we're all going to be like, fighting for our lives again. And we deserve to go down if we're going to keep playing like this.
100%, mate.
So,
100%.
Like you said, bring in a British manager. Even if they brought in Potter and Noble as number 2, I'll take that.
Yeah, no, all day long, mate. All day long. Anyway, Eddie, I'm going to let you go, mate. I'm going to try and chip through the rest of these callers that I've got that have WhatsApped in. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you, mate.
Cheers, buddy. Have a good night.
All right. Cheers, mate. See you later.
Bye, mate. Bye.
Right. Let's have a look. Let's go down the list. God, there's a lot of you. Hang on. Right, 1 minute. What, do you want to call? I don't know if you do or not. Right, hang on. Just in case. Right, so this is a callback. Bear in mind, people, if you're messaging me, make sure it's on WhatsApp because I'm not going between the messaging apps, so don't text. Right, so this is Jay from London.
Hello.
Hello, is that Jay?
Can you hear me?
Is that Jay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you, mate. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. I'm in my van, sorry.
No, that's all right, mate. That's all right. How are you today, mate? Did you see the game?
No, I'm a gas engineer, so I just my customer had it on in the background, so I didn't really get a chance to watch it. But he said it was shit as well.
You didn't miss anything, mate. You didn't miss anything.
But here's what I want to say. Why don't we just stop going to games?
Well,
just fans. Honestly, just if you don't go to one game, then how much money are they going to lose? They're going to lose none.
I've said the same thing. I said it last week, right? And that would have the most impact. That would have the most impact. It would do.
Yeah, just it's the same thing that you would do at work if you go on strike. You know what I'm saying? If you want change at work, you would go on strike, wouldn't you? The same thing. If you want change on the board, just don't go to the game.
The issue that you've got, mate. And this is a long time West Ham fan, and it ain't just West Ham fans; it's all football fans. You're looking at 60,000 people that go to the game. If you stick 4 West Ham fans in a room, they'll all disagree. That's the trouble over something. So to get everyone aligned, to throw that game. But having said that, it hasn't got to be everyone, even because that stadium's massive. If you had 30,000, if you had half the fans didn't turn up, it would look empty. It would do. It would look absolutely empty.
Cool. So my idea would be if you took like kind of say 3 channels that I watch. I watch your channel. I watch West Ham fan channel, and TV channel, and I watch Gonzo and that. If all you guys all got together and said to everyone, look, you guys have got about at least what near 130, 50 followers all together combined.
Yeah.
So if you guys all said like, look, let's not go to one game, they'll feel it. They'll feel it in their pockets.
I think we will see it. It is difficult as well though, because the trouble is, I know a lot of people that the issue with West Ham fans, mate, and that's why we get abused, and that's why we've been abused by us over the past. We're loyal as fuck. We are, especially the match going fans. They go every game. You know,
you can be loyal from home. I refuse to go to any of David. I refuse to go to any of David Moyes' games. I used to go like I was never a season ticket, but I used to go now and again with my dad or whatnot. Listen, I used to go into my dad's every week just to watch football.
Yeah.
Now, that kind of stopped because it's just boring.
That was my thing. So I've started doing watch-alongs this year because I never did them before because I watched the game with my son. So I've been watching. He's 15. We always watch a game together. He's got to the stage this year where he just doesn't want to watch it. He'll go to a game with me if I've got a ticket, but he don't want to watch it on telly. He said it's crap.
The only game I went to this year was the Bournemouth game at the start of the season. I thought, this will be good.
Yeah.
And me and my dad was like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Nothing's changed. Yeah. That's my idea anyway. Just don't go to at least one game. Don't go just one game. I think if you're going to do it, because it's all about embarrassment as well, you've got to choose a televised game. So it's got to be a game that's on. It's got to be a game that's on Sky, so that everybody that don't go can watch it as well. And also it will embarrass Sullivan to have an empty stadium on TV. That'll be powerful. But I'm not. I hear what you're saying, and I agree. That would be the number one way. It's the best way of protesting. Nobody can ever go at you for making trouble, which is what Sullivan likes to do. He likes to fucking have a go at West Ham fans when he like with Burnley 2.0. He threw all the fans under the bus for being violent and everything else. Do you know what? The best way of doing it is us taking the moral high ground and doing what you say, and just for one game embarrassing him, saying this ain't acceptable. Fuck off. So I'm leaving it in your hands now, yeah. So you're going to rally up the boys, rally up the other YouTube channels.
I'll have a chat with them and see what they say. I don't know. Like I said with West Ham fans, it's the same with YouTube channels as well. You know, we a lot of us, we've got different ideas. It's a big thing, you know. And I wouldn't want to paint the picture either. I wouldn't want to be part of something where it's got to be through choice, because I wouldn't want people that said, no, I'm not doing that, to be looked at as, demonised. Oh, well, you didn't support us because you went. I wouldn't want to be part of something like that. That's not fair. If what you do with
I hear you.
Do you know what I mean?
All right, so I hear you, but listen to this. So my dad's a postman, yeah.
Yeah.
So they go on strike, as you know, yeah. My dad always moans about the people that don't go on strike. However, when they do get the benefits from the strike, they still get the wages.
That's true.
The new wages.
That's true.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can kind of look down on them because it's like, mate, do you know what I mean? Like, you're happy to take the new wages for us striking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's sacrificing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mate, I do think it's a conversation worth having personally, because it's like because there's so much more there's so much more that can be incorporated into that, because we've also got the movement this year where they've removed concessions for older people and young people. They've removed concessions. They've driven up ticket prices as well. There's a movement going on in the background for that. They're doing the black balloon protest before games. Like if you go to away games, so they're doing that, and that's happening at every game, and that's basically just to show just dissent on TV or whatever else. But I think there's enough people out there that would be interested in that. It's just, like I said, it's just whipping up enough people to be able to get that going. But look, I will have some conversations. We'll see what we can do. It's a good idea. Yeah. I agree, by the way. If I could click my fingers and have made that stadium fucking empty today, I would have done it. Preferably, I would have liked to have seen no fans in that stadium, because you know what? They'd have all been happier because they wouldn't have been stuck in that shit or watching that shit football for a start.
Yeah, and the only last thing I want to say is I would actually take Brendan Rodgers.
Oh, mate, I would as well. I love his football.
Yeah, I don't mind him, and he's proven as well. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm kind of tired of our managers not that. I see Lopetegui shouts a lot, but I want someone to get in the change room and kick them off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, mate, they need that.
A wild card for me. Listen, put Tim Sherwood in there.
Oh no, he's Spurs. I wouldn't have Sherwood.
I hear you, but if you remember when he was in Spurs, he was like, "Yo, some of these players don't give a shit."
Yeah,
get someone in there, Joe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you about. I agree with you about about everything else, but not Tim Sherwood. I'll draw the line at Tim Sherwood. I'm not doing that. But anyway, Jay, it's been lovely talking to you, mate. Thanks very much for the call. All right, top man. Speak to you soon. Cheers, mate. Right, good call. Right, everyone watching, if you can, please drop a like on the video. Even that fucking Chelsea fan that's just had a go at... Your son is 15. Why isn't he a footballer for West Ham? He's a footballer. Probably could get on the... Well, he wouldn't get on the pitch. He's young. We don't play kids. But no. Yeah, if you can drop a like on the video, it does help. Right, I'm just going through. Hang on. I've got this one here. Get on the channel. Right, this is Marley, I think. I think it is. Oh, no, Marley don't want to talk anymore. That's fine. So what we got there? Oh no, he's phoning me back. There we go. Oh, Marley.
Hello.
Hello. Is that you've got Miles down? Is it Marley?
Marley. Yes.
Oh,
thanks for having me on.
That's all right, mate. That's all right. You was at the game today, I understand.
Yes. My biggest thing with Lopetegui is the man management, mate.
Go on.
It's terrible, man. The players are not going. The players are out on him already.
You can see it.
He's subbed off Wan-Bissaka.
I know we say a lot. They've lost the changing room, but I don't think this geezer's ever had the changing room. They're not playing for him, are they?
Not at all. I mean, I was completely moist out from the beginning. So this summer, everything West Ham, I've just been taking it in, and I've watched all the preseason games, and I just red flags right from the start. It's just looked so off. Even his sort of take on football, he doesn't even have a style of play. So we've been banging on. We want a more entertaining style of football. This guy comes on and he hasn't got a clue.
What even is his identity?
He hasn't got a clue.
What even is his style? That's the thing. We've been saying that for ages.
He's
no identity.
He's been asked a couple of times. And he's like, "Well, it depends on the game, depends on the opponent." And I mean, it just shows. Last week, Nottingham Forest, he goes free at the back. This week, he scrapped it.
Yeah.
How can you get any consistency?
Matt, how could you even go to free at the back with the players that we had available? That was fucking ridiculous. For a start.
It was ridiculous. I mean, it's just a joke. Mavropanos had a good start to the season.
Yeah.
So I could understand. It was a bit harsh on him dropping him out of the team. So looking to get him back in, but the players that we have, it just didn't suit it, and the system is just shocking.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he can't put Kudus through the middle. For the life of me. Put Kudus through the middle. If you want to play Paqueta with one of the holding midfielders you've got. You've got Rodriguez, you've got Alvarez. Why is he totally against that? You've had Kudus stuck out on the left.
He's our best player. He should be in the middle of the he should be in the middle of the team. Really, he should be, shouldn't he?
Put him in the middle of the pitch, but his head's gone now.
I know.
His head's gone. And then Somerville, you've been fucking. Sorry, excuse my French.
No, mate, don't worry.
You've been messing around with Somerville.
Yeah.
And look at today. He had a decent game. You took him off at halftime last week. How does anyone get their ground with this geezer?
No clue, mate.
His man management is shocking. Rodriguez couldn't believe he got taken off. I thought Rodriguez had a decent game. I'm not his biggest fan, but he had a decent game.
Well, he was fuming. He was fuming when he walked off today, wasn't he? He weren't happy.
And if you're gonna bring on Soler and you're gonna have Soler and Paqueta going forward in sort of as eights, it makes sense to have Rodriguez sitting there, not flipping Thomas Souček, who we've all seen for the last 2 years is incapable of playing football. Incapable.
We was lucky that we was playing Everton today, because when he made that change, I mean, fair enough, we were playing Everton, so I suppose you can excuse why he did it. But if we was playing against a better team, that change that he made there, where he went with Soler and Paqueta in the 8, and they were so far forward, mate, we'd have been battered on the break.
I mean, if Everton had anything about them, we would have been a couple of goals down in the first. We were just not. We have nothing about us at all. We can't put anything together. I mean, look, at the end, Ings has had a couple of chances. On another day, they go in, but that's just papering over the cracks.
Yeah.
And look, my biggest thing with Moyes had me tearing out my hair because he had his favourites and he just stuck to it. He never made any substitutions, and his man management was diabolical as well. But Julian Lopetegui, he's come in, and I can just see already that the players have just, Areola's like been decent, and he's rightfully out of the team. But
he should have got hammer of the year last year. Really, he was that good for us. And the thing that gets me is that people can't see through the fact that what we're seeing with these players is that it's systemic. It's the reason that so many players look so shit is because of that system they're being asked to play. And they're in the Premier League, for fuck's sake. It's fine margins to the point where if you've got one team that is set up perfectly versus another team that's set up stupidly, the team that's set up in a bad way, they're going to get fucked. They are.
They're going to get found out, yeah, and that's us. But I just think my biggest thing is that the reason why he has to go, if anything, is because the players are not buying into him. He's lost the dressing room already.
Discipline's gone. That last game where Alvarez went off. Guido could have gone off as well. Somerville could have gone off with VAR when he came down with his studs. We could have lost 3 players in that game.
It's just so frustrating because I've been a West Ham fan from day one.
Yeah.
Trevor Sinclair, Paolo, Joe Cole, all of that.
Now you're talking.
And I stuck by the team. I've always stuck by the team. All my mates support Arsenal, whoever they support, all these clubs. And I'm like, after when we won that trophy, I said, time for Moyes to go. I've been Moyes out from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then now they're all like, oh, look what you wish for. Look at it now. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do with myself, man. Because I can't, I'm addicted. I keep going back. I
know.
And
it's
like,
it is.
It's just so disheartening. And listen, if Sullivan's the same geezer that kept Avram Grant in charge for a whole season and took us down to the Championship.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at this now and I'm just thinking, mate, where do we go from here? But Lopetegui's completely lost the dressing room. None of the players are paying for him.
Whatever happens, he doesn't have a clue. To go. He's got to go. But I'm so worried about what happens next, mate. I don't know who that fucking idiot's going to appoint next. I don't know who's going to appoint next. It's just.
If we go down with Mohamed Kudus, Lucas Paquetá, that team that we've got, Todibo, if we go down with that,
be an achievement.
It would be an achievement, mate. Yeah. It would be an achievement. I think we're just lucky. That Southampton and who else we got there? Ipswich are just they're fucking terrible. So we might just by the skin of our teeth stay up.
I think that's a difference. I think the difference between us and the other shit teams in this division, maybe 4 of them, the difference is those teams haven't got a Kudus. They haven't got a Bowen who can dig us out of shit, which Kudus absolutely will. Throughout the season, he'll score winning goals. Paqueta will pick out
if he's played in the right position.
yeah, but they will throughout the season, and I think that's going to be the difference ultimately that will stop us going down. Is we've got players that can make a difference, but in terms of a football team, we're shit. We're a shit team this year.
It's bad, man. It's bad. But this Lopetegui, man, he doesn't know what he's doing. He hasn't got a clue. I mean, he's just. It's like, do you know what I mean? If you got a company and you've got employees, if they're not doing their job, fair enough, you pull them up on it.
Yeah.
But you've got to have some sort of human skills to
100%.
motivate these guys. And I mean, I looking at Rodriguez and Wan-Bissaka when they came off. And they couldn't believe it. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't even, when someone comes off, the manager gives him a handshake, he doesn't even acknowledge him.
Mate,
do you know what I mean? So what does that say to them?
But what kills me, right, is all season long, we've been lacking pace everywhere. We've been lacking, attacking threat. Now, I know he might not be ready yet. Well, he's never going to be ready at this rate, but he's got fucking Guilherme on the bench, who's had virtually no minutes. None. If he'd have been getting 15,
I feel sorry for the boy.
If he'd have been getting 15, 20 minutes at the end of games, he'd have been more up to speed by now, but... In fact, do you know what? Whenever I've seen him, he ain't never looked shit. He always looks busy. He looks like there's a player there. Do you know what I mean?
But like you're just saying, mate, 15, 20 minutes, let him get his feet, let him get adapted to the football. But if you just got him on the bench and you're flipping, it's never gonna happen. He's just gonna flop. But Luis Guilherme, I think one of the big things, we can't take a corner, mate. We had James Ward-Prowse. Yeah. I wasn't his biggest fan. But how many goals did he contribute to last season?
Oh, no.
And you've got rid of him, brought in Carlos Soler, who's a decent footballer. He can play football, no doubt about that, but he's not really suited to the Premier League.
No.
And he's definitely not suited to being thrown on 15, 20 minutes here and there. He's never going to get his feet. That's what I'm saying. This geezer's man management is terrible.
If you can't play football and score goals from open play, then you've got to look to things like set pieces, I suppose. But
I mean, I don't want to fall back on that, but no. I'm just looking at it like we're in a situation we can't score goals, we can't create chances, we're getting these corners, and it's just like, mate, we might as well just give it back to the keeper and let him kick it. Give it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we had Ward-Prowse there. We bought him for 25 million. You've loaned him out a season later. But keep him in the squad at least.
I'll be honest. I weren't his biggest fan. But
I'm not his biggest fan either.
But I do think that is. I do. I mean, look. I don't think nobody that we've brought in is better than him in midfield. Nobody that we've brought in terms of Guido and Soler, I don't think they're better than him. From what I've seen, I don't think
where we're at now, and we need to just sort of dig in. And do you know what I'm saying? Like today against Everton, we're at home. I think James Ward-Prowse might have been more effective than Paqueta.
Yeah,
Paqueta's head's a bit gone,
he's off the boil,
mate,
and he is off the boil.
He's off the boil.
I love Paqueta. I've got a serious man crush for Paqueta.
Great player. He's a great player, but his head's not in the game. I just want to big up one player though, Emerson.
Yes.
He gives us a good shift, man.
Yeah, he does.
Gives us a good shift. He puts it in, and the games that I've been to this season, I can't fault him. And I think he's been one player that, do you know what I'm saying? He can hold his head up high.
But do you know who else though? Like this is the thing, because I've said this before. If we just played a more conventional system, he overcomplicates everything. If he just played a flat back four with one CDM and just played a normal, basic fucking formation. Wan-Bissaka would be having, because I don't think there's a better defensive right back than him. He's brilliant, one-on-ones. He's superb. But I actually feel like Wan-Bissaka's almost being made at this stage to look like a bit of a duff signing because he's being played fucking way too high. He ain't that player. He's not.
I mean, there's no doubts about his defensive capabilities. He's a bit janky on the ball, but
yeah, he is.
The thing with Wan-Bissaka that I've personally noted, a few of the goals we've conceded this year, his attitude's not been good enough, mate. Just jogging back, just some of the goals, some of the goals against Chelsea, the goal against Fulham, was it?
Yeah.
It's just a bit. I'm just looking at it and I'm like, he's done some brilliant things at the same time, but I just think his attitude's not. Do you know what I mean? He's come from Man United. I don't want to pile on Wan-Bissaka at all because it just sounds like I'm. But I've just noticed a few things.
He has put in some good performances.
But I've just noticed a few things about him, and I'm just like, mate, your attitude's a bit.
Yeah. I mean, his best performance was against Man United because he had a point to prove, didn't he? He was fucking good in that game.
I mean, that game there. I mean, Lopetegui.
How we won it.
I don't know, man. But listen, he hasn't got the man management skills to get us out of this.
No,
he hasn't got the tactical identity to change things around. I mean, if you look at any of his press conference before the season where they've tried to ask him, what's your style of football? He's just gone on and said, it depends on the game. I don't want to really comment on it. He's just a bit of a... And I've looked at breakdowns of what he's done at other clubs, and that, he talks about... One of the things that he wanted to implement, we've kind of gone away from, is the high press.
Yeah.
That high press was what I was expecting, an aggressive press. But it leaves space in behind the midfield and it gets exploited, which you've seen against Chelsea.
Anyone that's played football knows that if you're going to press, you've got to press as a team, like throughout.
Exactly.
You can't just press in one area of the fucking pitch. It was weird, right? Because when at times what he was doing was he was pressing high, was sometimes with 5 players. The midfielders behind him were just fucking stood there, leaving a massive gap. The defence was high. So if the ball ever broke, which it invariably did, and the opposition picked the ball up behind 5 players who are now advanced, the player who's there, he's got all the time in the world to pick a pass through the lines, over the top. It's what Chelsea were doing. Chelsea were doing it for fun.
Yeah. We even nearly got caught out today with it.
I know.
From a corner, we nearly got caught out from it today. But listen, mate, If we go into the Newcastle and ask if Sullivan's got anything about him, he'd make a change now, because going into those Newcastle and Arsenal games with Lopetegui in charge, Newcastle, what they did to us last season, a couple times at the London Stadium as well, over the last couple of years.
It's going to hurt. With their pace that they've got going forward.
I would just change it up now. I'll get rid of him. Bring in someone that can connect with the players, get them playing, because there's no doubt they've got the talent. Tim Steidten has identified talented players.
Yeah.
But it's just the disconnect with the manager that we've appointed. It's just the wrong choice. We've made the wrong decision.
I almost feel like all of the players that have come in, you kind of need to not judge them and wait until there's a new man in there before we pass judgment on any of them, because... You just don't know. Even players that haven't looked great, players like Soler. Soler can't be shit. He's a Spanish international, just come from PSG. He can't be a shit player.
Nah, he's a good player. He can play, but it's how you use him. If you're gonna bring in someone like Soler, put him in and play him. 1 minute you put. What game was it where he started him? Man United, where he started him on the left wing.
I know
he hasn't got the legs to play that role. He's not gonna be effective in that role. Do you know what I mean? You take him off at half time. This week you bring him on with 15. It's just like, how are we ever going to see the fruits of these signings with a manager that's got no man management skills, no real tactical identity? Every week he's chopping and changing. He hasn't got a clue, man. So
I agree, mate.
The problem we have.
Marley,
very quick.
I've broke all the rules talking to you. I've enjoyed talking to you too much. You're on 15 minutes. Come on, last 30 seconds. Go on.
The problem we have, and it's the same problem we had with Moyes, the players get down like Scamacca. He got his head down, and then their heads are turned, and then they want to leave. So that's the only way I can see it if we keep Lopetegui.
Yeah, that's right. They will. You'll end up with disenchanted players again who want to fuck off.
That's it. Anyway, Nick, brilliant, mate. I really appreciate your show, and have a good evening, mate.
Top man. Cheers, mate. See you later.
Bye.
That's good. We're getting loads of new callers tonight. Right. Fucking hell, mate. I could be on here all night long. Right, one minute. Where are we? I'm working through. It's first come, first serve, all right? So whoever's on my WhatsApp list, I'm working my way up the list. So I've done that one. Hang on. Is this one? What's this one here? I don't know whether that's not a callback. That's no one talking about a call. Right. Here we go. Jordan. I don't know whether I phoned you already. Jordan from... No, I haven't. Jordan from Leytonstone.
Hello?
Hello, is that Jordan?
It is. It is indeed,
mate. Yeah. You're on Claret and Booze. How are you, mate?
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, good, thank you. I didn't get to the game today. I was working up north, but yeah, I know. Long old journey. I'm in Harrogate at the minute.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I just want to say, get this fucking Lopetegui out. Excuse my language.
No, mate, say what you want, honestly.
Like, the season is still salvageable. Like,
yeah,
we've got the international break coming up, right? The club, like, monetarily would be worse off if we finish, like, below, like, near the relegation zone, than to sack him and get someone else in. Like, it's a no-brainer. Sullivan needs to do it now.
It's right. You drop millions for every fucking position that you drop in the table. Well, where you finish anyway.
Well, look at us. Like, we was able to poach Jean-Claude Todibo from Juventus because us finishing 9th last season, we had more money from TV rights than Juventus' whole transfer budget. That's like how we was able to poach him from Juve. It's ridiculous. Like, he needs to do that. And like what Jay was saying earlier is that we need to come together as fans. And I'm not on about like violence, obviously what happened to Burnley and all that, but we need to boycott something like, club shop.
Well, you see, I think that is when the more I think about it, because we don't want another Burnley, because it makes us look bad as a fan base.
Yeah, of course it does. I completely agree.
So I do think that that's probably the best way that we can make our feelings known. And if you was to do it on TV, Sullivan would get embarrassed. He would do because he cares about his image. So an empty stadium at home on a game that was being televised, I think it'd boot him up the arse, mate.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the season's been awful. We got no legs in midfield, and like Lopetegui, like we've gone from one extreme to another. If you look last season, right, and you, Jay, Mickey, and all that, and Verge was all saying that we was running the squad. Moyes was running the squad into the ground.
Yeah,
because he was flogging all the players all the time. But because he kept that consistent lineup, yeah, he left players out in the cold. He had a settled lineup. Like however, he was flogging players all the time, and we were getting worn out. Come January, the Christmas lights would come down, and we dropped right down the table.
Yeah,
Lopetegui has gone completely the other way now, and he's erratic. I don't know what our settled lineup is. I don't know what formation he's going to play. And
I honestly believe he doesn't know.
Yeah, it's mental. Like, playing a back three against like Nottingham Forest, but also then playing like Jared Bowen, Somerville, like your lightweights up front against like players like Milenkovic, who are just absolute units. Like,
yeah,
we were never going to score against Nottingham Forest because you putting lightweights up. Like, it's almost like his tactical analysis before like he just gets it completely wrong. And I feel sorry. I do listen. Like, I know a lot of shit's come out about Steidon with signings, but I just think that I do feel sorry for him because I bet he's getting told now, toe the party line, look happy and smile for all the cameras and that.
Yeah.
But he'll go Arsenal, won't he? He'll walk out because he don't want to put his name to this because this is an absolute shit show.
Well, the thing is, and this is, I was having this conversation earlier on, it could be quite interesting actually if Tim does go, because it's obviously going to end on a sour note. It is, because Sullivan is going to try and use him. He's going to try and blame him for as being party to this failure because he won't want to accept it himself. He will not take accountability, Sullivan. He won't do it. He'll look to try and dig his way out of it in the eyes of the media. That's what he'll be painting. And a lot of West Ham fans will buy it as well, but most won't because we can think for ourselves. But what will happen is with Tim, I'm almost certain of it, I don't think he'll have it, mate. I think he'll come out swinging if he's got to try and defend his own image, because his image is everything as a director of football. So if they're trying to basically make out that he's shit at his job, he's going to come out and he's going to start flapping his gums. I can't wait.
I hope so. And like what I think should happen, right? Well, is a lot different to what I think will happen. But what I think should happen is, just like a few people were saying before, I think get the West. Look, we've got squad players there, like we've got your young guns, like Scholes, Casey,
got Alford. Alford's still there at the moment,
Alford, yeah, Potts, yeah. I mean, like, obviously you can recall these players back off their loan in January, right? Get an English manager in, like what I was saying before, like get a bit of banter going, like try and just get a togetherness around that dressing room, because they all look like disenfranchised. It's like they
don't look like a team, do they? They don't look like a team.
No, and they're not fighting for each other. They're not going to fucking war for each other on that pitch. There's a few players on that pitch that fucking always put their body on the line. Like Bowen. Like, I know fucking Soucek isn't the technically like most gifted player, but at least he fucking puts his like body on the line for the club. But a lot of those players just look like can't be fucking bothered. No. I mean, to be fair, I did like it when I saw it as well, Nick. When Rodriguez got pulled on about the 60th minute, he looked pissed off.
He was angry.
Yeah, he looked.
I don't think he had a bad. A lot of people in the chat saying he was anonymous. I think he actually had one of his better games. I mean, he had a good strike as well. His passing was sharp. I think.
Yeah, he was
midfield. He was quite solid. He was quite solid in midfield as well. I didn't think he was bad at all today.
Yeah, he was spraying passes. Like what? I think what'll happen is Tim will come out. He'll fucking come out swinging. He'll say, and if he does get his way, and if it does come around, you get a fucking Lopetegui come out with that fucking weirdo Guillem Balaguer, whatever his fucking name is, and he'll just obviously slate the club. Sullivan will fucking deflect it. He'll say it's fucking Tim's fault, and then you'll just have a fucking toxic atmosphere within the club. What needs to happen is, all right, Sullivan needs to be held accountable. All right, he needs to hold himself accountable. Hold his hands up. He'll get more respect off the fans. Yeah. If he came out and said, "Listen, I made a mistake. Right, I picked the wrong man for the job. All right, we should have got Ruben. All right, or we should have got Slot. Obviously, it didn't happen. All right." Then I'll tell you what, the fucking fans at least would respect that, because at the minute we got a fucking insidious owner.
Yeah.
He don't talk to the fans. There's that fucking divide. You know, it's them and us, and he ain't got the fans on side. Like, he needs to sack the manager now, save the season before it's too late. We got the international break. Even if Noble came in,
mate, I would be all up for that. I really would at this point, because I've got no faith now in Sullivan appointing someone decent that would do that job. And also, we're balls deep into a season. That group of players is disconnected, like you've said. You know, they need galvanising. I think what better group could you get than three West Ham blokes, you know, from the academy that know the club inside out, a born leader in Noble, you know, who won't take any shit. Kevin Keane, Potts, you know, what a team that would be for now, just to get us in. Because I don't think you need to be a master tactician with this group of fucking players that we've got. You just got to put players in the right positions and set them up right. That's literally it, and let them go, because it couldn't be any worse this season. It couldn't.
No, you know? Honestly, like we like, I completely agree. Like, it's just absolutely shocking. There's no legs in midfield. Like, we've got no athletic midfielder. Like, it gets to a point now where I'm thinking scrap number 10 and just play old-fashioned 4-4-2, because at least then players will actually know where their positions are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was weird. Like, you're completely right, Nick, and as well, saying, like, we don't press as a team. Like, even in any sport, like, you need to all, like, together work as a team. Otherwise, you're going to leave gaps open, right? And you get picked off.
Either play a fucking block or play a high pressing game. Do one of the fucking two. You can't do a mix of both. He tries to do a mix of both, like the midfield block when the forward players press, leaving a huge gap. And you're like, mate, what are you fucking doing?
It's weird.
It's so weird.
It's weird. And like, the geezer has no character. Like, he's got nothing about him. Like, if you listen to his press conferences,
I can't do it anymore.
Like, oh God, like, I was listening. Like West Ham Network, Russ. He does like a for sure counter.
He does, yeah.
And like a focus counter.
I do actually watch them. That's how I watch his press conferences. I watch. Russ's,
I do. That's same as me. Yeah. He just does like a focus. Like, I'm sick and tired of hearing focus and for sure all the time. Like, it's just
full of shit. He's just full of shit, mate. He is.
I don't know how they interview these managers. Like, it must be like, I swear to God, it's a conspiracy. They do it to piss us off. It's like, it's been the last 14 years. Like, I was going through the managers the other day with a mate of mine, and we was like, listen to the fucking managers that have appointed. Like, the only good one that like won me over was Bilic.
I loved it. He was a last manager that I've loved. I loved Bilic. That 15-16 season, I'm not going to keep on going on about it because it just, you know, it annoys everyone. But yeah, for me, that's still my in terms of a complete season, enjoying going to the games. That's the last time I enjoyed it, really. That you know, I know you got the Upton Park effect as well, and that was a special season. But I haven't enjoyed football anywhere close to that ever since. I haven't.
Yeah, it's just a shit show. I think a short-term solution, all right, is sack Lopetegui now. All right, just tell him like it's finished, it's done. All right, they've got managers. I'm sure they've got managers lined up. You know, I'll take that. I'll tell you what, I'll take that Sebastian Onus from Stuttgart. He looks absolutely mustard, but like.
But again, are they going to, as a previous caller said, are they going to buy him out of a contract? I mean,
absolutely not. Sullivan never buys anyone out of a contract. No. It'd be. Oh, yeah, like,
I mean, we'd all love that. This is going back to the Amorim thing, and especially now because a dopey cunt's going to have to pay off this manager. I mean, what a false economy that was. So he's going to have to pay him off. You know, if you think about that logically, he has to pay off Lopetegui 8 million, or whatever it is, with his staff. So 6 to 8 million. And then he has to go out and pay a release clause on another man. He could end up spending 15, 20 million, where all he had to do was pay 8.5 million to Amorim in the summer. But he thought he was getting a deal.
But what I was saying, Nick, like paying 8.5, it's a fucking, not to you and me, but it's like a drop in the ocean compared to the money you'll save going up the table. Yeah, football. Yeah, I completely agree. But you're right. He'll want to save face. The only consolation I see is that Stuttgart's manager, that Sebastian Onus, he's only got a year left in his contract, and he's actually came out and said that he's not prepared to stay probably till next season.
Ooh, well, there you go. I mean, look, and I know a lot of people say who would want to come and work with Sullivan. They don't give a fuck about Sullivan. All they see is London Premier League Football Club transfer pot. They don't care about the little bloke upstairs. Really, what they want to hear from Sullivan is, "I won't interfere. I'll give you what you need." They don't care. So Sullivan isn't he is frowned upon, sort of on the continent, so I've been told. But when it comes to managers that want to manage in the Premier League, of course they're going to come to fucking West Ham. You've just got to pay. You've got to pay what it takes to get him in, and they will come.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, sack Lopetegui. I'd have Graham Potter. I'd have. You're right, but then I'd also have Mark Noble. I'd have Mark Noble, Graham Potter. I'd have fucking Potts, like Kevin Keane, like just trying to work together and salvage something from this season. Because what you're having also now, and everyone keeps forgetting, all these players that are disenfranchised with the club, they're devaluing.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell, if Arsenal came and fucking offered 90 million for Kudus, now with the fucking form that he's in, I'd fucking snap the round off.
Well, yeah, because we're not getting the best out of him using him the way we're using him anyway.
No, absolutely.
We're depreciating him week on week. Not only is he getting worse as a footballer, he's turning into a raving fucking lunatic as well. So he's going around slapping people. So he's lost it. He's lost the plot.
Yeah, but it's all right. It's all right, Nick, because it's Spurs players.
Spurs players. Yeah, that's it. But anyway, Jordan, I've done the same with you as well. 13 minutes. Last 20 seconds, mate. Give your message. Give your message to Sullivan. Go on.
Get the fuck out of our fucking club, you Russian oligarch-looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right? Give us our club back, sack Lopetegui, and salvage the fucking season, please, God.
I'll finish it off. You cunt. That's it. You got to drop that in there. Well. Yeah, that's it.
Right, lovely. Cheers, Nick. Thanks, mate.
Top man. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Right. I'm enjoying this. It's a good show. It's quite cathartic. Hang on one moment. Well, if I do miss anyone here, I do apologise. It's quite confusing. Right, where are we? So I've got Phil from the US of A. Let's give Phil a call.
Hello, Nick.
Hello, Phil. Phil, you don't sound American.
How you doing? Oh, man, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I fucking wish I was, I'll tell you.
I've got Phil from the USA. So I'm assuming that you watch that shit show today, mate.
Yeah, I got up early to watch it. I'll tell you what, though, I've got to admit, I normally get up and my wife gives me grief about getting up early and stuff to watch them.
Yeah.
But I chose not to get up the other week when we got battered, and I was so glad I slept in for an extra 3 hours, I tell you, because I was fucking done.
You dodged the bullet. You dodged the bullet.
Tell me about it. I wish I stayed in bed today as well.
What time do you have to get up?
But, well, today it was 7, but normally
ain't too bad.
Normally 4 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah,
if it's a 12 o'clock game.
Fucking hell.
But
imagine getting up at that time to watch this shit. My God. Honestly, it's bad
Tell
enough.
me about it.
It's bad enough. You know, having to watch it at 3 in the afternoon.
I know, but I'm the idiot because I get up and watch it, you know? But
so what's your take on this shit show that currently is West Ham anyway, mate?
Personally, I'm not a fan of Loppy. Never have been. Wasn't a fan of Moyes. I've got to give credit where credit's due for Moyes to win us some silverware, but other than that, waste of time. We need to go back to people like John Lyall, you know? I mean, I loved him as a manager, you know, and you're
talking about football first managers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the difference. I mean, Loppy hasn't got a clue what he's doing. He jumps up and down. He looks like a fucking idiot on the sideline. And I just think he's a waste of space. I mean, the players, they've got no respect for him at all. They've got no respect for the badge, no respect for the club.
No.
Alvarez, I think his challenge last week was a statement to say, I don't want to play for like the next 2-3 games.
He knew what he was doing there, didn't he? You know, that
exactly.
It felt intentional. It did.
Absolutely, yeah. You look at him, he actually, a lot of people said that he actually got up and he had a smile on his face when he got his red card.
Yeah.
You know?
But I just think, as well as that, I think these players are proper competitors, right? They are. You've got to be ambitious. You've got to be a competitor. Otherwise, you wouldn't have got to where they are in football. And I do feel like this is just like real fucking frustration. They're boiling over, you know. Because if you're looking at them, if you're looking at them individually, you know, if you take Kudus and you take Alvarez, they probably are looking at their next move. They've used West Ham as that's fair enough. You know, they've come in. If they do well, they'll get a move to a massive club. So they probably would have been quite happy with last season. But this season, Kudus is going to be fucking fuming because he's looking worse every game. Alvarez is, you know, it's not a good shop window for anyone at the minute. So I think you're seeing a meltdown collectively in that club. There's no, they're not a team anymore.
I totally agree, and I also feel bad for the academy as well because they've got no fucking chance, chance.
And we've actually got some fucking good players as well. And I've said this before, and a lot of people scoff, right? And they'll go, and don't get me wrong, you know, listen, if I'd have had my way at the start of the season, we would have recruited maybe a Fofana, who David Moyes fucking turned his nose up at. We would have recruited a Fofana for central midfield, and we would have had a fully functional central midfield of senior players, so we could have really gone on, pushed hard this season, got top 6, got top 8. But when you look at how this season has materialised, when you look at how shit we have been, we would have been far better off playing Potts, Earthy and fucking Alford in the middle of the park. Would have had more balance in there. We'd have had more... those players would have benefited because they'd have got better game on game and they'd have acclimatised to the Premier League. And we might have even created a couple of superstars. You don't know. But one thing I'm certain of is that we wouldn't have been worse than what we've been. We wouldn't have been. Because our midfield's been non-fucking existent. They've been shit.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we need to get rid of Souček. I mean, Kufau as well. I mean, they're past their sell-by dates, definitely. You know?
Yeah, they have. I mean, look, Souček does a job. You can't knock him as in terms of his work ethic. I mean, I can understand why you would pick him at the moment in a team that isn't a team where nobody's pulling in the right direction because Souček is the player that will always give 100% no matter what. For whatever manager's in place, whatever the situation is, you can tell that he is a model professional that will always give his all. But the limitations are there and they're fucking obvious, you know.
Well, yeah, he's got no speed, is he?
No.
You know? No. None. Wan-Bissaka, I like him, but he's being played out of...
He's out of position.
He's not playing in his ideal spot.
Yeah. Oh, no.
You know, I mean, I do like Tobido, what's his name? Tobido as well. I think he's growing. He's growing into the team.
He's growing, but I think he's going to suffer massively. And, you know, I got frustrated with him today. I did watch it. There was a couple of things that he did where he fucked up against Calvert-Lewin, like really clumsy.
Right.
He fell asleep. And against Nottingham Forest for the first goal, the Chris Wood goal. But this is a team where the setup just completely exposes that defence. You know, if you played him in a system where it was a solid unit, and I'll keep on saying it, flat back four, where the poor fucker had a right back. He ain't got a right back. He's literally having to cover centre half and the right side. So he's got a forward to be thinking of, and he's got a winger bombing down the wing. He's got to try and cope with that. It's so fucked the way that we're setting up. We're constantly exposing everyone. It's like, take players' weaknesses, Loppy will try and expose it. We've got slow-ass midfielders. So, you remember what he did against Chelsea, where he put Alvarez against Linford Christie in Nicholas Jackson, who was just absolutely roasting him. So maddening. Sorry, mate. Sorry, I'm going off on a rant.
No. I mean, I look at Antonio. I mean, I love watching Antonio. My wife loves Antonio, but he's past his sell-by date as well, I mean, play someone. I mean, even play Ings. I'd put Ings on because he runs around a lot more than Antonio as well,
Well, from what I saw today of Ings and from what we've seen just recently, I've been pushing back on Ings, I have been. But I do think if you're going to use that combination, if you're going to play one up front and your options are Ings and Antonio, and you're going to give them a portion of the game each, he's doing it the wrong fucking way round. Start with Ings.
Right.
Bring Antonio on as the impact player. Big, powerful, fast, to run at tired defenders. That should be how you do it, really.
Right. I agree. Give him just like 15, 20 minutes because he's got the power for that. But after 20 minutes, his legs are gone.
Oh, no, he's blowing out of his arse now. He's 34 now. He's 34 and he looks like he weighs about 18 stone. And he's massive, and he's a lump. So every player has their day. I do still believe that Antonio probably is the best person suited for a one-man up-front system, but he can't play a full game. He can't.
Right.
He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be our best. We should have recruited so we had a number one starting striker that was better than what we had before, but I just don't think we have, unfortunately. I don't think we have.
But look at Bowen. I mean, Bowen's I love Bowen. I think he's a fantastic player, but he runs about 12 miles a game, doesn't he? He's fucking everywhere, and I just disagree with that because he's not in position to give Antonio a ball or Ings a ball. Do you know what I mean?
No. I completely agree. Look, it's mate. There's so much wrong with what we're doing this year. It's so frustrating. You do come out of it, especially early on. Look, people on Twitter will clip me again for saying it. I never wanted fucking Lopetegui. I signed Lopetegui. I didn't want him. I never wanted him. When it come to him signing, I was not happy. But then when he did, I thought, well, okay, we've got to get on board with this now. We've got to. And I did actually start to convince myself that he was a good manager and I was overreacting and he was a vast improvement on what we had before. So I really wanted this to work. I haven't wanted this to fail. It's the last thing I've wanted. But the signs have been so obvious that this guy is fucking useless. He's so bad. He's so bad. You can't ignore it. It's shit. I did actually utter the words, right? And I can remember saying it on several occasions when we had Moyes. Anyone would be better than David Moyes. I said it. I said anyone would be better. I was wrong, Phil. I was wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
Phil,
I agree.
Moyes had to go.
I've been watching you for.
But there was someone that was worse, and we've found him.
I mean, I'll tell you what, Nick. I've got to say, you build me up because I watch your shows and stuff, and I'm like, I'm annoyed. But then I watch Nick, and I'm thinking, fuck me, I wish I could get as annoyed as him as well. Cause that's passion for you right there, isn't it?
I find it cathartic, mate, for me, because for me doing it as well, because when I have them, because half the time I don't mean to even have a meltdown. I start off quite calm, and then I've got like trigger words in my own head. Normally Sullivan, or it used to be Moyes, and I start getting wound up, looking at my own face, because that's what I'm doing now. I sort of fly into a rage. But what it is for me, it's like I've got all that frustration, and blowing my top is like a pressure release. So even though I've lost my mind on camera, I must admit, even through some of my worst ones, I stopped streaming and I'm like, oh, I feel better now. I've let all that out.
Right. Well, I watched your worst case scenario before coming on to this one as well, and I was just like, shit. It is just pure frustration. I mean, I live here, but I've got season tickets, and my son went today, and he just said it was just absolutely fucking frustrating to watch.
Oh, he was over there, was he? Your boy was over there.
Yeah. Well, my son lives over there.
Yeah.
But I live here. But I've got season tickets, so I come over like 3-4 times a year. Yeah. And get to as many games as I can. But it's just like
I know so many Americans that do that. I know you're not American. I know so many people that live in America that do exactly the same as you as well. You know, they've retained their season tickets and they come over whenever they can. I mean, that's fucking commitment for you, isn't it? Jesus.
It is, but when you get there, you're like, fuck. It's like 8-9 quid for a drink, and then
you feel like an idiot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like it's almost like 20 quid for a pint now.
Yeah,
and then getting there, getting out, and everything else as well. And it's a shit show. It's an absolute shit show, you know. But I think, like, just honestly though, going on all the comments about what everyone else has been saying, I think one of the biggest games to try and boycott would be Liverpool, because it's between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
You know, there'll be a lot of people at home watching anyway, right? And if we could boycott that, if we could get 20, 30,000 people to boycott, that would show...
That would be good, because that's a high-profile game that will have the most eyes on it, because it's Liverpool.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm fully in favour of this. I would rather that than a fucking riot, because it achieves nothing. I'd rather that than a riot in the stadium. We don't want that. You know, it does make us look bad, you know, and Sullivan drives us to it. He ends up almost looking like the victim. I don't want him to look like the victim. I want him to look, you know...
Right.
So that would work. That would work. But anyway, Phil, I'm gonna wrap this up now. So give your closing statement on Sullivan. What you would like if you was talking to him now, right? So you're talking to Dave, and he's asked you for some advice on what he should do in the next week.
Sorry, mate. I've got a really weird sense of humour, but I'd say shag the bird that he was next today, have a heart attack, and peg it. You know, simple as that.
Yeah. Choked to death on a tit or something. Yeah, I know, mate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I'd say he needs to just pack his bags and leave. He's not suited for football whatsoever.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Let someone else take it on board. You know.
Do you know something? What we did. We had a chat. I've got a WhatsApp group with about 10 to 12 different West Ham fans in there, and they've all got different. They're different types of West Ham fan with different opinions, right? Some are really patient. Some, you know. And I asked a question, and I said, I said, you've got two choices. There are no variations. These are your two choices. Two choices. I said, the first choice is 5 more years of this, 5 more years of Sullivan playing these games, 5 more years of us just doing no more than just existing in the Premier League, 5 more years of shit managers, 5 more years of not enjoying football, but we get to stay in the Premier League just existing. Or we get relegated, Sullivan leaves, we don't know what comes next, but you roll the dice. Do you know, out of 12 people, 11, I think it was, 11 said, I'll take relegation.
I would.
They said I'd roll the dice just to reset and start again, clear this fucking cancer out of our club, because it's eating us. It's eating us alive. It is, and I know that's horrible, right? I've got 2 parents that died of cancer before anyone gets the ump with that analogy. But
my mum did too.
Yeah,
my mum did too.
But cancer is definitively, it's something that fucking eats away and kills something. That is what that man is doing to this club. So it is,
I agree.
It is a fitting analogy, because that's what he's doing. Slowly but surely, he's taking more and more away from us. He's taking our enjoyment away, our identity. He took our home away. Yeah, he's a cancer. He is.
Well, just on that, just real quick though, at the end of the day, it's all about money for him. He doesn't give a shit about anything apart from money, right? But I think what we need to do is, he's not going to give it up for the simple reason because so many foreigners buy the tickets now as well, isn't it? It's all about asses on seats. It's as simple as that. It's all about money for him. It's not about the fan base. And I think if he just listened to the fan base and understood the true fan base, because West Ham's probably one of the most beloved supporters ever.
Most loyal, following, unique.
Absolutely,
following.
Yeah.
100%.
Beating everybody.
Yeah.
Beating everybody. All the Italian, all the Germans, as well as all the Man Uniteds and so on and so on. If he just listened to them and just gave us 50% of what we're asking for, it'd be so much better.
I don't think we're that hard to please. We don't.
No,
we didn't become West Ham fans because we wanted success. If you wanted success, you would never have been a West Ham fan. You didn't.
That's right.
You become a West Ham fan because of the fucking. Do you know what? Because we was a little bit different. It felt a little bit special to support West Ham for that reason. Because people could never get it. And they were, why are you so proud to be a West Ham? They didn't get it, because we were different. It was a family. It was a community. It was the people. It is a bit different now. We have been diluted to fuck. But it's not to say that it's not to say that we can't recapture some of that again. And I just think we're too good for Sullivan. We are.
I agree.
He needs to go and buy Cardiff. That's where he needs to go. That's apparently what he wants to do next.
And then get his little show on Netflix or something. You know?
That's it. That's what he can do. But anyway, Phil, absolute pleasure talking to you, mate.
Likewise. Keep it up. Keep it going, man.
I'm going.
Take care.
Okay.
Mate. Bye.
Right, top phone calls. Right, everyone. I can't keep going all night long. I was only going to do this for an hour. This is an hour and 50 minutes. I could do that show again with the amount of callers that I've got. I love that. What I'll do next time, however, I'll cap them at 5 minutes so that I can get through more calls. I've gone through as many as I can. So sorry for anyone that I've missed. I haven't picked and choosed anyone. I've literally gone through from the bottom and I've worked my way up. It's first come, first serve. If you enjoyed the show and you enjoyed the format of show, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Drop a like on the video. That's it. That's me done. I'm signing off. Thanks all for watching. Oh no, I've got to go. I've got to do Nick's poem. Shit. Hang on. Well done, Nick. 1 minute. Right, here we go. I'm gonna murder this poem that Nick 1 has written. Right, so here we go. Right, Loppy. I bet I'll do murder this. Right, it goes. Loppy's at the helm, but we're sinking fast. West Ham's dreams fading. Can't this nightmare pass? Promises of glory, a bright future to shout, but all we're left with is chanting, Loppy out. 4 at the back. No, it's chaos instead. Players look lost, like they're stuck in their heads. Tactics so shit, no spark and no flair. Fans in the stands pull out what's left of their hair. We had hope in the start, but it's crumbling down. Week after week, it's the same sorry sound. His stubborn approach, his refusal to change, leaving our club feeling empty and strange. We bleed claret and blue, our passion's on fire, but watching this mess just douses desire. It's time for a change, it's time to move on. Pack your bags, Loppy, it's time to be gone. West Ham deserves better, we know this is true, and we'll roar even louder until we break through. Bring back the spirit, the fight and the clout. The fans have spoken, Loppy out. I like that, Nick. Well done, mate. Well done. I hope I did it justice. Right, okay, going to let you all go. Drop a like on the video. Speak to you all soon. Come on, you irons.